again, it's Rhea, Passionate Paper Creations. I'm videoing Connie Fong, video number 2. And we're going to do the hair. Let's see. So I've decided I'm going to do a brown hair, which is, I find, most commonly used. And I've got my colors here. Let's see if I can put these out. But I'm going to write the numbers down because you can't really see them. So from lightest to darkest, I have E31, E33, E35, E57, E79. Okay, we're going to go. I've looked at the hair from the artist, and there are so many ways that you can actually color hair. But I've decided to do this from the simplest way possible. Thinking as though a beginning Copic user. I admit that coloring hair is not my strong suit. Not at all. And, I can make it look streaky and give it, depth that way. We can, when you look at the hair can be like pleats and folds. It has a lot of hills. It has, a hill here, which is where the highlight is going to be. It has valleys down here where the shadows are going to be. It has layers that sit on top of, another section. So this section is going to cast a shadow here, which is a hill going into another valley. If you look at it in terms of rolling hills or hills and valleys, and not as hair, you might be able to see it a little bit different. Here's a hill that goes down, a little hill that goes down into a valley, back up into a little hill. So this part here is, right here, is going to be a little bit more shaded. This is going to be the top of the hill that crests, that's going to have a highlight, but it sits on top of this part. So this section of the hair right here sits on top of this section. So it's almost like a cliff. And then this will have some shadow that goes out just a little bit, and a highlight will go here, right in here. So I think in overall looking at this picture and seeing the flow of the hair, the easiest thing to do, especially if you're just beginning with Copics, and the way I color personally, we're going to take it one section at a time. This is not going to be a short video. But you can fast forward through it if you wish. So I'm going to start with one section, and this one right here pops out to me. And I'm going to start with my lightest color. Remember when we talked in the first video, light, dark, medium, light. So I'm going to start with E31, put down my base coat. I'm going to go to E79, and then I'm going to work my way backwards. So E31 first is a base coat. E79, just a touch will do you. And then I'm going to blend it out, start blending and sweeping the color across with E57, then E35, E33, and E31. E33, kind of what it does, if I just go from E31 to E35 to E31, you can blend those colors out, but E33 is kind of that bridge of color in between. It makes it a little bit easier to blend. I want this process to be easy for you. So with E31, and I'm just flicking up, I know that I want my highlight to be right about here. And I'm literally going to do pretty much a basic blend on each section of the hair. Don't know what it's going to look like when we're done, but we'll figure it out together. E79, now this section of hair is in front of this section of hair, so you're going to have a drop shadow, so you're going to want to put that in. And then the roots of the hair. Notice I'm not using a lot of E79. E57. I'm coming a little bit further. Basically, by using this many colors and doing the method that I'm doing, we will create what appears to be a shine. That was E35. This is E33. There's not much of a color variation, but it does get a little bit lighter when you come into E33. Back to E31, which was my lightest color. Excuse me. And I'm going to close up that white. So just that section is done. So I've made a gradient appearance from dark to light, leaving white for the highlighted area. Now, as I move across the top part of the hair, I'm going to try to keep that white area, that basic highlight, in the same section across. So now we're going to start with this section. Now this highlight, and I'm going to just draw it in so that I can stay within my area. '79. Again, the section we just colored sits before or on top of the one we're doing now. '57. I'm losing my white, so I need to be careful. 35. 33. Back to 31. Close up that white line. keep it simple. Oops, sorry about that. Now I need to blend a little bit more. So I'm going to go, I picked up 33. Did that. Now, yesterday I explained that I flick better towards myself. So, yes, I do move my paper. Now I'm going to go to this section here, and that's going to be my white area that I just marked. You don't always have to do it the hard way and mark in all your light streaks and then go back and streak with your dark and then your medium color, or go streak in your dark. There are different ways to do it. So this is the easy way, especially if you're just beginning. Now, I actually like this way. I think it softens the hair. This is 57. $35. $33. $31. What other section jumps out at me is this one right here. That's sitting back. This is, we're going to put that behind. They're 57. Leave a little bit of white. Leave a little bit of the light color. I don't want the shadow to go into the other shadow because then you lose your depth. 35. $33. $31. And we'll come in and lighten each top part a little bit, and last little trick. This one here. This needs a new nib. If you can see, I have a little ball, and it's not drawing a very straight, nice line. So I do need a new nib on that. It's when you use a marker that you do a lot of flicking with, you want a nice, sharp nib. So colors that you use for hair, it is nice to have a sharp nib on. 79. Very light flick. a small area. The little section in front of it here, that's going to be the front. 57. $35. This one needs a new nib too. I do keep my nibs fresh, especially on my E's. $33. Back to 31. Closing that white line. And let's go ahead and $79. $57. $35. $33. Back to 31. Okay. Now, this hair, I'm going to put a highlight here and a highlight here. What is that going to do? How do we do that? Now, this is pretty much going to flow into this one. And let's put a curved and fix that later. First I'm going to do that part of it. Now I want to keep this forward, so I'm not going to go with really dark colors there. I'm going to start in the middle. This is 33. I'm only using 2 colors. Notice I flicked in the center. I'm going to give it a little bit of a bend. I have to do 35. Flick out. Flick the other direction. 33. Sweep that out. Sweep it the other direction. Back to 31. And even though the hair there drawn is straight, it will give the illusion that it has a little bit of a bend to it. We're going to do the same thing here. 35. $33. Because I don't want it to look flat. And back to 31. So it still needs to have some personality to it. Now I'm on 31. I'm going to come back into here, bring in 79. And I just suddenly saw that that fell behind. As you start coloring, you start seeing a little bit more. Or I said that was one piece. I saw it differently after I started coloring it. This is 35. $33. Back to 31. That was 31. This is 79. We're going to make this fall kind of behind. You always want to go in the direction of the artist. Now this we want to bring completely in because it's in a valley. And then we're going to leave the highlight area up here. But it's sitting further back in the image, so we're not really going to leave a white area. Now, let's look at this piece. When I look at this, I can identify the hill and valley pretty easy. Here's the valley. Here's the valley. And there's the crest of the hill. If you turned it upside down, you could say this is the valley, but let's not complicate things. Sometimes you just don't overthink it, you just color it. There. Okay, now we still got to finish this one right here. Bring in some 57. Bring that more behind. And add in some 57 along here. 35. A little bit of 33. Back to 31. My 57 is now getting glossy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to wipe it off. Is it getting glossy? Because it needs to be refilled. Nope. It's just getting glossy because I'm using it quite a bit and the alcohol in the marker is evaporating and it's heavily pigmented with ink. So we're going to let that sit for a minute. So let's continue. Do this section here. 30. I'm on 31. So on the post of the group, you have a link to the image, 79. You could actually, it would be fun to get the image and color this along with me. Make sure to leave a comment. The 57 is needed next. Make sure to leave a comment and join my YouTube channel. I will be selecting 3 winners to win a Connie Fong image. Thank you, Connie, for being so generous. Such a sweet lady. And we'll have fun. This is exactly how I teach my classes. I've had several people say they wish they could take my classes and I'm not in their area. So, same thing. Let's take a look at this hair here. It's swooping down and up. So I see a highlight here. I see a shadow that's going to go like this. It's going to come out this way. It's going to come out this way. And then there's going to be another highlight here. So that gives, I just kind of mapped out what I was going to do. So I'm going to do the roots first with 79. And it sits on top of this. So I'm not going to put any dark colors here. I'm going to leave that light. What I am going to do is, because you can see that it folds over there. So I'm going to outline that. Now, there is a valley that is right here. That I'm going to take 79, and if you saw, I swept it this way with 79, and I flicked it this way. Now with 57, $35. $33. And back to 31. Now see how I created the valley? Just by adding the dark color. This hair is beautifully drawn. Now this is really up high, so I'm going to eliminate 79 on this one. And it's really forward. So this is 57. $35. $33. Back to 31. Now we'll go to this section. See how much easier it is if you do one section at a time? It tends to make more sense. It does to me anyway. All right, I just saw something, and I'm going to use the 79 to point it out to you. Right here. There's a hidden valley. Bam! Sneaks up on you. Shh. But we found it. Okay, 79. 57. 35. Blend it out with 33. Wow, did that just pop. I'll leave that for right now. This right here. Dude. I'm going to come back to that. Let's do this part right here. Right here is a hill, the crest of the hill. Coming down the hill into the valley. If you hit a section and you're just not quite sure about it, leave it. Come back to it. Because, whoops. Because you might, once you color, as you color along, it may become more clear to you. Just like I looked at that one section and it just didn't hit me. So I left it and I'm going to come back to it. Because it might be more clear the more I color. I also find that coloring in sections is a lot more relaxing. It takes more time, sure. But what do we color for? We color to relax. I know I have a crazy busy schedule, so doing this and doing it's taking my time. This is really nice. If it ends up being a 3-hour video, so be it. Y'all can fast forward through parts of it. That was 57. 35. 33. 31. That was 31. She would be pretty because of all the flowers with violet hair, teal hair. $57. By doing these videos, I can teach images that I cannot teach in a classroom. $31. That section is done. Oops. This just should be light. It's coming to me. $57. 35. 33. 31. Which means I'm going to go the same direction this way. So Had a valley here, so I need to extend that this direction. 50, that was 79, this is 57. 35. 33. Back to 31 with the highlight. Close that in. So there is part of that confusing section. Let's just go for it. 31. I'm going to come out this way. The artist comes out this way. $79. This line comes here. That sits on top. We're going to bring this section forward. $57. $35. $33. And I think we'll leave it just like that. Oh, cool. Got it done. Okay. $79. $57. This is 35. The next one here up is 33. And 31. We are almost done. And I'm going to come back over here. I'm getting bored with that side of the head. $31. $79. Remember, when you're coloring an image with skin and hair, you always want to do the skin first, then the hair, because if you do this, you do the skin first, because if I did the hair and I'm working with light colors such as E50 like I did, and I go over and I touch E50 to E79, the chances of me pulling or sweeping that E79 into the face are great. If that happens, you can't fix it. So you've just messed up the skin color and you need to start over. So I was taught, and I do strongly agree to this day, that you do color the skin first. Then you move to the hair, because the hair isn't always easy. And if you've spent all the time doing the pleats and folds and the entire picture, and then you do the hair, unless you're really, really good at it, which hair is not my strong suit, and then you mess up the hair, you've just colored the entire image. And now you're not happy with it because of the hair. So I would rather get the two hardest parts done first, because my confidence level is much higher on the rest of it. Here I'm mapping out this section of hair. When I say mapping, I mean that I'm sectioning it off to where I'm going to color. Starting at the roots, 79. I'm going to bring that forward. By bringing it forward, by putting a cast shadow, you are actually adding depth and lifting this section of the hair up or forward. I'm going to do that too. Okay, 57. I just remembered my light source. Her head is tilted this way, so I try to keep that light. Her head is tilted down, but I got to keep this part lighter. Oi! I'm back to 33. $31. Okay. This section here is going to be really light because of the light source. And we're going to have a wider band of highlight area. I'm going to eliminate, well, I can't eliminate 79 because I've already used it on the other end. $57. $35. $33. Back to 31. $57. $35. $33. Back to 31. Fine line of 57 along the back and underneath. Straight line blend here. $35. Now I can flick up 33. Back to 31. And over. Now this back here is falling behind everything and it really isn't going to have a lot of light hitting it. So if I place this shadow with 79 like this, brings that forward. Plus we have the drop shadows from the flowers. And the curve. And then 57, you can see all of that fall to the back. And see how that shadows. And then I'm going to jump right into 33 from 57. And it'll lighten some of that up so it's not just as dark. $31 here. $31 here. Do a little 35. $33. and 31. A little 30. 35. 33. 'Blend it out with 31. No, we're never going to be done. Just kidding. We are. 31. Now that we're getting a feel for what we're doing, I'm going to go ahead and start doing larger sections. That was 79. This is 35. No, that was 57. Sorry. 35. 33. 31. Whoa. Back to 31. I'll blend that in there. It happens. Picking up the wrong marker. Okay. Whoa, didn't finish that one. $57, 35. 33. 31. 33 in here. Because it's sitting on top. So I want to have 33, 31, and then a little bit of a white highlight there. Darken that a little bit. Ooh, 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 almost done. Okay, I'm going to do that section here. $79. Carefully around the face, coming down to where I was previously. 57. Continuing. 35. 33. 31. Here we have 79, so we're going to continue that. And see what happens. See what kind of look we get. So we have 79 going up. We're going to bring 79 going down, see if we can create a little more of a valley. 57. Notice I'm going in the direction of the funnel shape. 35. Now I'm going to 33. Now I want to come back over to this side. Let's add a little bit more 57 in here. Now I'm on 35. I'm going to flick that up, bring that down a little bit with 35, 33, 31. Close that off up there. Leave just a little bit of white, and then I'm going to color that part there. Oh, I think that's nice. Isn't that nice? All right. Now just to finish off this behind, that's the easy part. Just don't get it on the face. like I just did. I'm still in 79, and this is going to be dark, so I'm flicking out colors in the direction that the artist has drawn the waves of the hair. 57. Now, I'm going to skip 35 and go straight to 33, because still, even though it's underneath and she's facing forward, she's still going to have some highlight. So I want her to have a little bit of depth. Now, that was a gap, but I'm going to make that a section of hair. That was 33. $57. 79. And back to 33. Kind of fill that in so it just doesn't look, whoops, let that dry. Push that back in. Now, the highlight areas. She's a brunette. So, do we want to leave it white, add a touch of yellow? Tucker says add a touch of yellow. Okay, so we're going to add a warm yellow. We can do Y21 or YR21. Here's YR21. It's kind of a golden color. Y21. One is a little bit more yellow than the other. I think we're going to go with the YR21. Let's do it on inconspicuous. Can't really see it. So Y21 it is. Because we want it to be brighter. And we're just going to tap it into where we left white. I'm not one to leave white. Whether I add a BG10, a yellow, or some kind of highlight color, even if it's an E40, E41, I have a tendency to do more of that than to leave white. I see white and I feel on my images as though it's unfinished. But that's just me. There's nothing wrong with it. I see it on other people's projects and I think it's lovely. On some projects, it's absolutely necessary if you're doing something very shiny. such as metal. So if you're just starting with Copics, this is a great way to start coloring hair. Instead of diving in with getting the flicks and the texture, this way you're still achieving depth with a very soft look. So don't forget to comment, join the YouTube channel for Rhea Wigand, Passionate Paper Creations. And I will be selecting, I've got one more video to do. I've got the dress, the flowers, do a little bit of background. And I'll be choosing 3 winners from this video series. And each of you will receive a video, an image from Connie Fong. So I will check you later. Thanks.